Horses, like humans, come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and just like us, it seems some are prone to putting on weight. For many owners though, this isn't necessarily easy to spot. Joining me now is Ben Mays, equine vet surgeon and trustee of the Animal Welfare Foundation. And Ben, why is this?
Well, owners often find it difficult to assess their ponies because for a start, they can't tell the difference between muscle and fat. In Larry here, this is actually fat, but a lot of owners confuse it with muscle. This is firm fat, whereas fat is normally quite spongy, but over the neck it can become firm.
And Ben, why is this so important to get it right?
Well, being overweight has some serious health implications, for example, on the musculoskeletal system, the lungs, the heart, and so on. For example, obesity can lead to equine metabolic syndrome, which can then go on to lead to Cushing's disease. EMS is a type of diabetes type 2 and can also lead to laminitis, which is an inflammatory condition in the feet, which is very painful and can, in the long term, be fatal.
And as an owner, Ben, what should you do to assess the condition of your horse?
Well, carrying out a body condition scoring assessment every couple of weeks really helps you ascertain whether your horse is thin or fat or becoming that way.
And how does it work?
So body score assessment is done on a scale of 0 to 5.
Right.
5 being obese and 0 being emaciated.
Okay,
and we look at the horse in 3 different sections. The front section, which is the neck and the crest here and the bit in front of the shoulder. The middle section, which is over the back, the ribs, and they don't actually have much fat under the belly, and the third section, which is the rump and the tail head and the inner thighs. Now those 3 sections you score separately on a scale of 0 to 5, add them up and then divide them by 3 to get your final score.
Okay, so as an owner then, how should you assess your horse to get a score?
Okay, so we've got those 3 sections. The front section, feel the crest. Larry here is quite cresty, so he'll get a reasonably high score of 4 for his crest. We're running a hand down our neck, and this is another site for common fat deposits in front of the shoulder. In fact, Larry doesn't have a big fat deposit in front of his shoulder, so he'd probably get a 3 there. So arguably he's a 4 or a 3 on the front section. And the middle section, we've got the back, and this is a common area for fat deposits along the back here, either side of the spine. And it's important to run your hand, and what is the shape? Is your hand flat or is it curved? If it's flat, then there's fat there. The ribs is really important. Don't just run your hand over the ribs like that. Feel where the ribs are, and in Larry you see they're a long way down.
Yeah.
In thinner horses you can actually see the outline of the ribs.
Yes, you can, can't you? Yeah.
In the back section or in the bottom section, what is the shape of the bottom? Is it round and curved like an apple shaped? Again, Larry doesn't have that much fat on his bottom. It's quite thin. There's no fat deposits around the tail head or in the inner thigh, so it isn't too bad. So I'd probably score a 3 over his bottom. So overall we've got a 4, a 4 and a 3. So Larry probably is overall a 4 in terms of his body score, which is fat but not obese.
As an owner, what kind of score should you be worried about?
Okay, well, if we think of our scale of 0 to 5, 0 is emaciated, that animal is very sick, malnourished, and potentially can die. Score 1 is poor condition, score 2 is a reasonable but on the thin side, score 3 is good, score 4 is fat, and score 5 is obese. And obese is bad because of health issues that are related to obesity, i.e. EMS, Cushing's disease and laminitis.
And finally, Ben, what should you do if you find your horse is over or underweight?
Okay, if it's overweight, then we need to think about the nutrition. We need to cut down on the nutrition. Exercise, is the exercise regime good enough? Do we need to restrict the grazing, reducing the calories for that horse, if you like?
Okay, and
underweight, the opposite extreme. They can be, if they're very thin, they can be medically ill, and it might be worth contacting the vet.
Okay.
The horse's dentition, the teeth might need attention, rasping to make them more efficient at grinding the food.
Yeah.
We need to up the nutrition. Perhaps we should consult a nutritionist and get the right advice in terms of how to feed that horse.
Great, thank you, Ben. And for more information on this topic, please visit the Animal Welfare Foundation website.